Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We're grateful for your dedication to district service. In addition, we're also grateful you set aside time today to learn more about our council and how our districts will function going forward. Finally, we appreciate your commitment to improved and enhanced service to our district committees. One quick piece of housekeeping. If you look at your name across the top of the screen, the RingCentral screen, please make sure to add a breakout number to your name. You can do that by, in the upper right-hand corner, there's a blue screen, a little blue square with 3 dots. Click that, and then scroll down and click the rename feature, and then add a number for the breakout session you want to participate in. 1 for district key 3, 2 for membership, 3 for development, 4 for program, and 5 for nominating committee. We appreciate that. The entire conference is being recorded. The recording will also be posted in Michigan Crossroads Council's District Resources webpage next week. Please use the chat feature, and I see that a couple of people have already done so. Please use the chat feature if you have questions. We will answer those questions at as we move forward through the presentation. I would now like to introduce Don Shepard, our Scout executive, who has some thoughts he would like to share with us.
Hello everyone, I'm Don Shepard, Scout Executive for the Michigan Crossroads Council. And on behalf of the Executive Board, I'd like to welcome you to the District Success Conference. We're going to cover a number of important topics over the course of this virtual conference. And it's going to be extremely important that you participate in the maximum capacity and that you provide some strategic direction for us as we move forward and really try to figure things out in this new COVID world. We need to be flexible. We need to take on the mantra of Semper Gumby and be very flexible as we move forward in working together to establish strategic direction for our district committees and commissioner teams as we march forward in 2021. We're going to cover new council structure and how the divisions and districts relate to one another and the council. We're going to talk about district leadership some during this conference. We're going to hit the high points of the 4 pillars of scouting: membership, program, finance, and administration, to include the district nominating committee process, which is very important. Succession planning is something that we need to get stronger at throughout the state of Michigan as we look forward to what kinds of roles we're going to have to fill in our district committees and commissioner teams as we move forward. And quite frankly, I'm doing the same thing on a board level with Council President Brad Arbuckle. So we look forward to what your succession planning direction is going to be as we move forward in each one of our districts. Also, we're going to look at the strategic direction of each district and what are your individual circumstances. What are you facing as it relates to school access? What are you facing as it relates to program delivery? How many of our units are actually rechartering at the end of the year? What is our service element going to be as we move forward, and who do we really need to focus on in the delivery of program? So this is going to be a very important session for all of us. We're looking forward to your participation. Your investment and time and energy into this conference is very much appreciated. And again, we look forward to your flexibility as we move forward and working together to serve the youth here in the Michigan Crossroads Council. So on behalf of the Executive Board and myself, I'd like to say thank you for your investment of time and energy into this conference. Have a great day.
As with all Scouts meeting, we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, Scout Oath, and Scout Law.
Those who are not. Those in uniform, please salute. Those who are not, put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the
to the
republic
republic
for which
for which
it
it
stands,
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty
and
and
justice for all.
On my honor, I will do my
Do my
best
best
to do my
do my
duty
duty
to God
to God
and
and
my
my country,
to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
Those in uniform, please.
I am Steve Harris, Michigan Crossroad Council's Vice President Operations. Along with Jim Trask in the Great Lakes Division and Frank Nowakowski in the President Ford Division, we serve the 27 districts in Michigan Crossroads Council. Our professional partner is Gary Gilger. He is the Council Deputy Scout Executive Operations. Gary, could you head to the next slide? Thank you. This slide and the next slide will show our council as it is organized as of this moment. One district, the thumb district, in the very tip of the thumb, the very blue part at the tip of the thumb in the mitten is about to reorganize. I'll talk about that reorganization in a moment. The third slide I'll show you will show our council after the reorganization. This is the footprint of our council, and you see there are two big colored areas. Yellow on the left, and that represents the President Ford Division as it is organized today. Some call that maize, but especially on today, but best I'd probably not get into that color distinction. In the right lower part is blue, and that represents the Great Lakes Division. There are some other pieces to this map. You see the green triangles, Cole, Rotary, Gerber, Adventure Point, Tatanka, and DeBarre. Those are the camps that we operate. You also see some red boxes. Those red boxes represent camps that we own that are currently on the market. And then the red X's represent the various offices that we're operating as of this point. Just as a side note, you see in the right of the slide, the new council shoulder patch. And I'm not sure if it's available quite yet, but if not, it will be available very, very soon. That's the organization as we are today. Gary, could you please move us forward? Now this shows not only the same information, well, it took out the offices, but it shows our camps, the green triangles. But the various colors are the districts that we have right now, and will be moving in the forward. And if you look at the thumb, again, the very tip of the mitten, where that whole area had been red, now the very tip, Huron County has become part of Blue Water District. And then just in the web of the thumb, I'll call it, the slight grayish blue area, had been part of the thumb district. Now it is moving into Ojibwe district. There were relatively few packs and troops and relatively few youth in the legacy thumb district. And so we talked to them. Jim Trask and many others showed exceptional leadership, and the volunteers in the legacy thumb district decided this is what they wanted. And you see the white line that separates, and so the white line to the left or west is President Ford Division, and to the right of the white line and down along the coast of Lake Huron, Lake St. Clair, and then the Detroit River, that represents the Great Lakes Division. Now, the effective date of the reorganization is midnight, October 31st. So and you can see at the bottom of the screen, just below the map, it shows the effective date is October 31st. We chose that date because that will help with charter renewal, unit charter renewal. Not all of us know that charters are being renewed right now. And if we had dated it after October 31st, that would have made it more difficult to do charter renewal. So that's why we selected the date. So that is the going forward organization for our council. Any questions? We do have 15 districts in the Great Lakes Division with 23,500 youth, and there are 12 districts and 12,200 youth registered in President Ford Division. There's a total then of 27 districts across Michigan Crossroads Council. Jim Trask, Great Lakes Division Vice President Operations, will now discuss functions of district operations. Jim?
Thank you, Steve, and good morning, everyone. Welcome on a great Halloween morning. I don't see anybody in costume, but maybe Bob Dwyer is, because he's hidden at the moment, but he's the one I usually count on to do something crazy. Anyway, welcome to the session this morning. We're going to talk about functions of district operations. Gary, let's get to the next slide. So the roles of a district, we probably all know this, or at least hopefully most of us know this. We have based on the registration for the conference, we have a wide variety of experience levels. And so some of this information may be pretty simple for people who've been around for a long time, but we're going to cover it and have opportunities for everybody to ask questions in case there's anything that's unclear. So the role of a district really is to support the units in delivering a scouting program within the district. So, you know, we talk about bureaucracy or organization and other struggles, but we have to remember that ultimately our goal is to deliver a quality program to youth in our areas, in our divisions, our council, and our districts. And the district volunteers and professionals are responsible for supporting unit needs in the district and for 5 key functions. These are the key functions we're also going to have breakout sessions for. Actually, 4 of them. We're not going to, I'll talk about that in a minute, but these are as defined in the JTE objectives. You've probably heard many times, money, manpower, and membership. Well, all of those are in here: money, membership, and manpower as nominating committee. In addition to that, of course, we have to deliver a quality program, because that's why we have members. That's why our youth actually join and stay in the program, is the high quality program we deliver. Next slide, Gary. So the district committee commissioners and professionals, district executives, function as a team to achieve these objectives. Development, membership, and program are primarily the responsibility of the district committee. Unit service is carried out by both the district and unit commissioner. So that's primarily a commissioner responsibility. Commissioner conferences are conducted separately, and commissioners, while we function as a team, have different responsibilities. The committee, the commissioners, and the district executives do have different responsibilities, and then come together as a team to deliver them. We're not going to talk more about unit service or commissioners throughout the rest of this conference unless there are specific questions that come up in the chat. Gary? So the key functions we're going to talk about today are membership, development, nominating, and program. And the district nominating committee is a key function of the district committee to assure that we actually have the people and the talent to achieve the goals of our other objectives. Gary, let's go ahead. So I'm going to talk just a bit about each of the 4 areas we're going to have breakout sessions. So we have breakout in the key 3, which we'll talk about in that breakout session. And then among these other 4 key objectives, development, membership, program, and Nominating Committee. Those are our breakout sessions. I'm going to just hit the highlights of each one of them in this intro, and then in your breakout session, there'll be a lot more detail and a chance to answer much more detailed questions regarding the responsibilities of each of those areas. So development is obviously important. We've called it finance in the past sometimes it's development. It really is fundraising, popcorn, development campaigns, FOS, assisting with special events at the district or at the division or council level, and assisting with community and market advisory boards when and where those exist within the council. We all know the importance of raising money for scouting because everything we do costs money, and it's a critical element in delivering the program to youth. Gary. Next slide. Membership, of course, is what it's all about. Membership function strives for growth through the organization of new units, new members joining existing units, retention of existing members, including Webelos to Scout transition, and transition throughout the levels of the scouting program. And this may include, go ahead. So program function, more detail on this also in the breakout session, but this covers training, advancement, recognition, and merit badge counselor support, activities and civic service activities, camp promotion, and camping support. And these really are the key elements that we deliver to youth in the program. Advancement, activities, camping, these are all critical elements of the way we deliver a program to youth. Next slide. The nominating committee, of course, is the way we actually generate staff, our volunteer organization, volunteer staff, to function at the district level, staff the committees that we need to deliver the program, whether it's fundraising or program or membership drives. The nominating committee is responsible for that. Now, officially, they select a slate of district officers for annual election by the district committee. They should meet throughout the year to build a prospect list, cultivate potential leadership, and fill vacancies as they occur during the year. And in the best of all worlds, they actually manage succession planning and identify and recruit district committee members and leaders. We are struggling with this. As you'll hear in the breakout session on nominating, we're struggling with this in many districts, and there are tips and tricks on how to move ahead with nominating committee and fill committee roles. So I'm sure there'll be a good discussion on that in the nominating committee breakout session. If you have any questions, please add them in the chat. And following my presentation, Frank Nowakowski will also give a presentation on more detail on district leadership roles, and you have an opportunity to ask questions at that point as well. I don't see any questions in the chat at this point. So Frank, please take it away.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate that. And as you had pointed out earlier, Steve, that there are people who are veterans of scouting for maybe years and decades, and there are some who are relatively new and new to council positions and district positions. So please understand as we go through this, we need to cover all of those bases. Gary, please. So as many of you know, each district is led by a key three. And this section of the discussion this morning is about the leadership. Jim talked very well about the functions and the structure. Steve spoke to that, and I'm going to focus to the leadership piece. The key three consists of a district chair, district commissioner, and a scouting professional. Each district function is led by a vice chair. So the four functions that were spoken to outside of unit service are those key major functions. Functional committees or project teams then are led by coordinators of various titles. Gary, please. Go ahead, next slide. There you go. And if you're looking at it from a organizational chart view, should be very familiar because quite honestly, we have decided after experimenting with some different formats that we are returning to what has been and continues to be a very successful structure. So this is what it looks like. Go ahead, next slide, please. And here's the issue for us, ladies and gentlemen. When we start to look at the districts themselves, and we've done some pretty accurate work in terms of who's who and where, several of our districts, in the case of the President Ford division, we have 6 out of 12 district chairs in place. That means 6 districts do not have a chair. It's very hard for us to be successful when the leader of the district isn't in place. Now, we are very grateful and fortunate that some of the district commissioners have stepped forward and helped and filled in some of those roles and responsibilities, but we shouldn't have it that way going forward. So filling this role is critical to providing leadership for all of our vice chairs and those committees within each function. So here's our goal. Every district will have a district chair in place February 28, 2021. Now, that's just around the corner. Doesn't perhaps see it. We've got the holidays and what have you ahead of us, but it is truly around the corner. But if we don't have chairs in place by the end of February, well, the tumble down effect, you can just imagine it. It delays everything else. Now, in the ideal world, we would go through a nominating committee process. We would go through elections. We would select people, and that's the way we want to be able to do it in 22. But for this year coming up, we know we need to make appointments. And here's where we really need your help. Jim and I have reasonable knowledge of our areas, but we just received several new districts who we don't know much about. And so as we're forming this together, you have the very close-up view of who could serve in a district chair position, who could serve in these vice chair positions. And in the past, I think we sort of did it ceremonially. We did it in a way that maybe there wasn't a lot of action that came out of that. We can't do that going forward. We really want people who are motivated and who see a passion with the functions that they're in and do the job. So let me continue on and tell you a little bit more about what we're looking for. Now, this district chair needs to provide leadership to the district committee to mobilize resources and ensure the growth and success of the units that deliver our programs. She or he is responsible for effectively administering and having quality programs and operations within the district. Collaborate certainly with the district commissioner, the district unit serving executive or director, and has monthly meetings. Right? So that's the role. It's more of a organizer, builder, if you will, executive role. It is not intended to be a doing role. And that doesn't mean these people don't do anything. It's just that we have in the past had, and I was the district chair of Eagle Spirit District for about 3 years. It's very easy to fall into, I'm just going to do it all. I can't quite get enough of the team together. It needs to be done, therefore I will do it. And that's, there's nobleness to that, but there's also a lot of vulnerability and things don't get done. By the way, you take the fun away from the other people who would like to contribute. Next slide, please. So a success profile that we're looking for and that you're eyes on within your areas. And by the way, you have a very vested interest in getting very good people in these serving in these roles because you'll benefit, your units will benefit. The success profile has a true passion for scouting and its purpose, enjoys planning organizing and directing the work of teams, is willing to make the time commitment to be involved and accessible, has good connections with people in the district's region, is goal-driven and success-oriented, and that provides that executive leadership, and should have experience in scouting as a youth or as a leader. And what we've found in the past is we've appointed some district chairs who had very good intentions, but no experience in scouting. And for those of you who've been in scouting for some time, you know it's a fairly steep learning curve, and it's a journey to understand. So the people who can
Give me 1 second.
serve in this role, who have experience, will help us in terms of getting momentum and continuing on. What are the commitments for someone? Well, there's monthly district key 3 meetings and the district committee meetings within their own district. Monthly district chair meetings, that's with Jim and his team and with me and mine. And then divisional board meetings. They meet about 5 times a year. The executive board meeting every other month. We were a little surprised, I guess, Thursday when one of the district chairs said I'd never been invited to these meetings. And so I would, as a group, hereby invite you. You should be a part of that. When I was the district chair of Eagle Spirit, I attended, I think, every one of those meetings. And first of all, I learned a lot. I met people and made connections that helped me to function in the role. But most importantly, this was an opportunity for me to offer the voice of the district to the board. And there are many members of our divisional boards who either have no or limited experience in districts. So your voice as a district chair or whoever sits in that role, very important. Please do attend those executive board meetings. Next slide, please. Now, if we have many districts that don't have chairs, well, logic says we probably have quite a few who don't have vice chairs. And we went through a patterning the other day just to see where the holes are. It started to look a bit like a checkerboard, except that some of those checker pieces were even missing on there. So we have a bit of work to do. But, there's an upside to this. We have an opportunity to appoint people into roles they really want to do, that they care about, and are committed to functioning in. So I think I look at that as on the opportune side of things. Filling the role is also critical in providing the leadership for all of our volunteers who serve on projects and standing committees. And here's our goal. Every district will have their vice chairs for the 4 major functions in place by the end of April this coming spring. Okay? So the dates are critical that we do this, and I will be vigorous in getting those appointments. And I need your help, and so does Jim, so that we can have the top level of the team in place as we begin the next scouting year. Next slide, please. What's a success profile for a vice chair? Similar to that of the chair, except that, as you see in the red, the passion for the function. So if someone is the vice chair of finance and their passion is programs, logic says that's probably not going to work very well. If somebody's passion is finance and we've got them in membership, it's not a good utilization of resources, time and talent. Now, commitments are very similar. They meet with the district committee once a month. They have their own program meetings. That's probably about once a month with the groups within their area. And then the divisional meetings, that would be about 5 times a year. This is working with the divisional vice presidents of programs, membership, and so on. So it's a bit of a matrixed organization. You've got a line that connects to the divisional functional VP and a line that connects to the district committee and the district chair. Next slide, please. So let's go through some of the particular functions for development. And I'll just focus particularly on the red. Leads that group of district volunteers by focusing attention on the development of funding sources for programs now and into the future. Certainly works in conjunction with the other members of the district and all development-related functions of the division. Now, there's a point I want to make here. Some of our districts have market advisory boards. This was an experiment that we began about 2 years ago, started in President Ford Council, and it was a result of not having succeeded very well in developing the funds, meeting our goals for FOS and other things that relate to fundraising for several years in a row. And so we felt we needed to try a different approach. And so we gathered people in the community who had connections and had a heart for scouting, and we talked to them most specifically about funding and fundraising. And so in the major metro areas and in certain and other areas of Michigan where we can organize a board, this function of fundraising starts to go and will go to them. That's a big change for the district chair, because fundraising had become the preoccupation of the district chairs. And quite honestly, it wasn't their love on that. So the district committee and the district chair role turns more toward operations, okay? And the other fundraising role, although we don't ignore it, it's very important, but is going to be taken care of by a team of people who are well connected into the community. Now, what about those communities that don't have an advisory board? And there's a lot of those, of course. Then this fundraising function still remains in the district, and the district chair, along with people that they have, will need to raise money. They'll do that through popcorn and through FOS and so on, okay? But I wanted to give you an idea of the direction, what the intent of the experiment was. We've had some success with it already in Grand Rapids, Traverse City, and Muskegon, but it's still a work in process, and I wouldn't want to overstate it by any means. Next slide, please. For membership, it focuses on attention on recruitment and retention of the youth. All of you have been in scouting enough to know that if we don't retain the youth, they don't progress through, and the scouting experience isn't complete. So we needed to focus very much on that. The collaboration with the district chair, commissioners, and others, the professionals, of course, and importantly, the divisional VP. Again, that's showing you that matrix approach there. Next slide, please. This one I'm excited about in particular. When we did the unification, if you will, into the field service councils about 2012, 13 timeframe, we, with good intention, removed programs out of the districts, hoping to consolidate them at a service council level so we could deliver programs better. As it turned out, that wasn't the right approach. That wasn't a successful approach, I should say. Right isn't the right term. Now, I would say that not only from Don Shepard, but all throughout those boards, I've heard agreement that we need to move programs back into, into the district structure, and that the programs need to be near and dear and close and owned by the people in the district, such as the Klondikes, the Camporees, and other very, very excellent programs we probably all remember from our youth days. So the good news is that's the direction, and there's commitment to doing that. As a result, now the districts have to really be organized, step forward, rally, and deliver on that. And that doesn't mean that districts can't collaborate with other districts in running a joint program. That, of course, is. But the divisional VP for programs becomes your resource. It becomes an organizer at the council board level to help you with resources. But the actual organizing and doing, it's in the district, where it should be. Now, in virtually every one of our districts, we don't have a vice chair for programs. And we have some committees that exist because we are obviously having actions and activities, but this is a wonderful growth opportunity, and it's a wonderful recruitment opportunity to bring those who have a heart for scouting and have perhaps experience back into the district structure, back engaged. because we all know that people, the majority of them, like doing the programs. And they understand the necessity of the other functions, but it's the programs that lights the lamp. So I see this again as a wonderful opportunity for us to get going fast, because this can happen very quickly here, and going well. Next slide, please. The nominating committee. For this first part of 2021 coming up, we cannot wait for a nominating committee to function in a methodical way that results in elections in the spring, May, June, so we can be staffed with our division's leadership. We need to get going. We're going to do it by appointment. So can you have the vested interest, guide us, help us, work with us, so we get the right leadership in who will help you this year. However, it's very important that we do establish a nominating committee, that we train them, we organize them, we get them going, so that during the course of 21, we are looking for people to step forward into leadership in 22. Okay, so it's the cart and the horse kind of thing, you know. Now, the person who wants to do this is the person who has the connection, loves to be in contact, communication with volunteers. They like the nominating process. They understand the value of it, and they're looking year-round for people to join them and to join our organization. Next slide, Garrett, please. And importantly, those district committee members, and there's a great little patch there that says district committee. I rarely see that patch being worn as I go to gatherings. I'd love to see lots more of them. We have many, many people who are on district committee projects and committees, subcommittees, if you will. Let's continue to build on those. We are very, very thankful for those who provide the time, talent, and seemingly endless energy to deliver the different programs and serve on project committees and teams, some of which are listed here. So again, there's a wonderful opportunity to build the team. Please go ahead to the next slide. If there was a punctuation point to all that we were saying this morning, you know, we can't play a good ball game. This is such an appropriate day, Gary and Jim, to have this discussion. We can't play a good ball game and be successful if we can't field a full team, okay? And we all know that. And it burns out volunteers when you can't, you aren't as successful, you don't achieve what you were hoping to achieve in terms of goals, and it's just not the right thing to do. So we have a wonderful opportunity to build the full team. And with your being here today, we look at that optimistically as a commitment to building strong districts, because Michigan Crossroads Council is wholly dependent on the districts being successful. There isn't any other structure, it's the district. Next slide, please. And may I take questions that you might have, or questions you would have for Jim or Steve or me?
I see a question from Adam Morse, and I apologize if I mispronounced your name, Adam. Adam asked, our district typically has at-large vice chairs, and then it's the intent of each vice chair will fill one of the four functional roles, with no possibility of a vice chair who serves as an assistant or backup to the district chair. So what we're asking for, and what really, to be truly functioning, we need a district chair and then the four vice chairs. And if you have an extra vice chair, or what you're calling an at-large, perhaps you could call that the chair-elect or something like that. The next, as part of your succession planning, you've got somebody lined up to replace the district chair, or you've got someone lined up to replace the program vice chair. That's all great, but we still need the chair and the 4 vice chairs in place to make sure that all the key elements of district operations are covered. We need someone to cover all the pieces of membership so that when membership comes up, we know the right person to go to. The same thing for development and program and all the rest. So I hope that helps you, Adam. Let's see. The next question is, how do district positions report to the division? The way things work is that district chair reports to the division president. The 4 vice chairs report to 2 different people. One, the district chair, and also the appropriate division vice president. For example, the division vice president, the district vice chair program would report to the division vice president program. That would be John Savage in Great Lakes and Derek Stark in President Ford. So there would be the district meetings to participate in, but also to get communication back and forth between the district and the division. That would also have some regular contact with the division vice president. I hope that helps you with that. There was a question about from Dave Gordon about programming, and I think that is in essence the same. And John Savage jumped in and basically said something along that lines. And John talked about there will be more details in each of the program breakouts as to the actual mechanics for this, but that's the overview as to what's going to happen.
Steve, there's a couple of questions here too about seeing a listing of the council leadership, the chairs and vice chairs. And yes, we're in the process of working that up right now. I actually have and this is you can just see, nice messy copy. So it truly is a work in process, but the intent is to get you out an accurate list, name, phone numbers, and email. So you can start building a network of your own. If I was a district chair today, I would certainly be networking with many other district chairs and asking, how do you do this? What's the best practice you found? How is it that you're able to get somebody who's a great popcorn kernel? How are you able to do this or that? And it comes through the networking conversations.
To follow on Frank's comment, if you go to Michigan Crossroads homepage, that's michiganscouting.org, you'll see across the top, there are maybe 8 or 9 different main headings. Toward the right-hand side is a heading called Resources. Click on that, and then on the left side of your screen, you will see about the 5th one down, District Resources. We're in the process of updating that page, and that'll be done in the next week or so. This conference will be posted, the entire conference. All the resources that we refer to will be posted, position descriptions, the organization charts that Frank refers to, the contact information. We'll have templates for District Key 3 meeting, a template for a district meeting, templates for all sorts of things, district roster, all sorts of useful tools. And if you have any questions or you need more stuff, let us know. If you have suggestions for things to add, please let us know. But we want this to be a go-to resource for you serving in the district. So keep watching that district resource webpage on MCC's website.
Steve, to add to that, we have already put publications that the National Scouting Organization has put out that is already on that website. So one of these, for example, selecting district people, for those of you who can read backwards, right? That's what it says. But it's a great publication, and it has forms, all ready to fill out. So if you're looking at, gee, how do I organize this? What form do I use? What form could it take? Well, at least there's a suggestion here for you. You can take your own shot at it, but nonetheless, it isn't go make it up from scratch. The District Operations Handbook is out there. It also has, Camping and Outdoor Promotion Committee. I just grabbed a page, but there's many resources. And then we have a nominating worksheet, and it has again, methods and tools to go ahead and do it. So the good news is we can get started today. We don't have to wait for something to be developed. It's already there. The tools that Steve spoke to are additions, and you should feel ownership on those. If there's a better way to do it, maybe our way is klutzy or clumsy, gracious. We'll accept a better way, of course. So, the old continuous improvement idea.
We will include best practices as well. Yep, Dave Gordon has included the link. You can look in the chat feature. Dave has included the link to the district resources page. Just a few housekeeping notes before this general session closes. If you look at your name, find your name across the top of the screen, please make sure that there's a number that's added to that. That number will be used to put you into the appropriate breakout session. If you do not have a number before your name across the top of the screen, go to the box in the right upper hand corner of your name, the box with your name in it. There are 3 dots. Click that, and then scroll down to the rename button. Click that, and then add a number as appropriate for the session you want to participate in. Number 1, and add that before your name. 1 would be for District Key 3, 2 for membership, 3 for development, 4 for program, and 5 for the nominating committee. In a moment, Gary Gilger will share some thoughts with us. A closing video will play at the conclusion of Gary's comments. You will then be sent to the breakout session you registered for using those numbers I just mentioned. You won't have to do anything. Wait a moment, and you will automatically be sent to a breakout room that you registered for. The Success Conference will end when your breakout session ends. We will not all come back together for a group meeting or group session after each individual breakout. I'd like to highlight some of the buy dates or action dates that Frank mentioned. You heard him talk about the fact that every district really needs to have a district chair in place no later than February 28th. And we're not going to wait till the annual business meeting in each district. Rather, we can use the nominating committee, whatever it takes, but we need to get that person in place, and then we can appoint that person through the division board right away and get that person working, the chair and the vice chairs. The buy date for the district chairs is February 28th, and the buy date no later than April 30th of next year to have all 4 district vice chairs in place. That's really important, and we appreciate everything you do to help make that happen. We do need a district team, as Frank mentioned, in order to provide quality service to the PACs, troops, and crews and ships that we serve. I'd like to thank several people for helping to bring this about. Don Shepard really provided, set us off well with his opening video. The development specialists, Roy Moore and Leon Bell, we're grateful to them. Lori Champion and Bob Dewar are helping us with membership. We appreciate that. Derek Stark and Sean Henneman are providing exceptional help with program. And then Christina Van Putten has taken a real leadership role in the nominating committee breakout. I'd also like to have special thanks to Jim Trask, Frank Nowakowski, and Gary Gilger. Gary's our professional partner, and the 3 of them have provided extraordinary work to bring this about. They're incredibly good people, fabulous leaders, and they really know what they're doing. So please use them as a resource. The next time you see them, please thank them for helping to bring this about. Finally, I'd like to, another tip of the hat, and that goes to Chris Hopkins. He's the kind of the wizard behind the curtain that you see in The Wizard of Oz. And he did all kinds of promotional work, help with all sorts of technical issues, and this would not have come about without the assistance of Chris Hopkins. So thank you, Chris. I'd like to also really highlight and thank each of you for what you have done to date. More importantly, I'd like to thank each of you for what you're about to do on behalf of the Scouts we serve and the communities they live in. Scout on. Gary?
Thanks, Steve. I want to echo Steve's words on thanking everyone for attending. Between this and the Thursday night sessions, we've had over 160 people attend these sessions, and I think a good launch to a new focus on our districts. I did want to talk to you about something that's been said tonight is that we keep using the word professional partner. Well, in your district, your professional partner is your district executive. And a lot of people ask me, it's like, well, it seems really that we have trouble keeping our district executives, and they move on to other things. And I will say that the reason why that is in many cases is just being overwhelmed with the amount of work. And so I challenge you to do this, is to be a true partner with your district executive. And what does this mean? Primarily, the district executive's job is to develop relationships within the community. Visit with school superintendents, visit with churches that could potential partners, visit with business leaders, and network in the community so that we can find those people out there that, they probably are in the Chamber of Commerce and the Rotary, and through some brief conversations find out that that person was an Eagle Scout or has children in Scouts, and how they can work and help with the district committee. They also do help people with the administration side of things, making sure the records are kept, but it really is an executive position. Oftentimes we have to rely on our district executives to do things like contact units to find out if they're selling popcorn, or join school night dates, things that take them away from their primary role. So what I'd like to do is challenge our district committees to look at what the district executive is and see which of those things that their district committee wants their DE to be doing, and find out if it's a really good use of their time, or is that something a volunteer can help out with and be part of that, so that they can free up the time of their district executive to do things that might be more impactful, or things that need to be done by the district executive and can't be done necessarily by the volunteers. We put a lot of pressure on our DEs, and we have a lot of expectations. So whatever you can do to support, rally around them, help them out, mentor them, and ask the simple question, what can I do to help? And you guys are all great volunteers in scouting, but sometimes we just need to remember that we need to ask that question. What can I do to help? And take things off your plate so you can do other things. So with that, again, thank you for coming today. I appreciate the time you put into this and the time you put into your district committees. A strong district committee partnered with a strong commissioner staff, partnered with a district executive, is a truly powerful thing. And our districts, we need to be focused a lot more on that, and we haven't been in the past. So with that, thank you so much. And we're going to move to the closing video. Give me patience. I need to assign everyone to their rooms. It doesn't take long, but you probably will get an invitation to join your room, and that's when the sessions will begin.
Gary, could you hold up before you assign person with the phone ending in 7811? What session do you want to go to?
Well, and one thing is once I get everybody assigned, we'll go through those people that I don't have numbers for, and I can get them moved over to.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Fun experience.
A once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Experiencing life from a different angle.
The Boy Scouts of America today stands ready to deliver life-changing experiences people simply cannot get anywhere else. Experiences for everyone involved in the scouting program: youth, families, volunteers, donors, chartered organizations, and you. We gather here to generate the sparks that will light the way to delivering outstanding, world-class experiences for everyone in Scouting.
It's just a good place to be in.
Welcome to the Boy Scouts of America. Let's light a fire.